So first off, what I want everyone to know is we're going to be focusing mostly on this area called Zhengzhou, which is in central China,
Yep.
in Henan, a very Han-centric, very like pro-China area of China.
Yeah,
If that
very
makes sense. Very
nationalistic.
nationalistic, right? Now, we're going to be focusing on that. However, what you have to know is that there are handfuls now of these types of scenarios happening directly around the country at this very moment.
Yeah.
And the Chinese government's doing its very best to make sure that you don't hear about it. But the initial leaks, all the footage and stuff came out from Zhengzhou, so we'll be focusing on that. So first off, I just want you guys to get the scope of maybe what you're about to see.
Yeah. Here's somebody on the highway passing through a toll gate, and you can see all of the police vehicles that are currently heading in to take control of the protests in Zhengzhou.
This is police and SWAT team
Yeah.
and special police, which is
Yeah, those buses are just busing police.
busing police. You have the armored police. You have basically all of the terrorist squad, that you have in China. Just get this. I want you guys to get the scale.
Yeah, those were military trucks as well over
Yeah.
there, which are going to have troops in the back.
Just get the scale of what we're looking.
See those
at.
buses over there? It looks like a passenger bus. That's not a passenger bus. You see that stripe down the side?
Yeah.
That is a police bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, we're sending vacationers down here.
It's also not like, we're sending 20 cops to go deal with a little protest, right?
No, they're
You get the
mobilizing
idea.
en masse. This is a lot of police and military and whatever else that are currently heading to, suppress the uprising. And we'll explain to you the origins of the uprising. We'll explain to you what's going on with that shortly. But one thing you need to know is that this is all surrounding the Foxconn factory, which has over 200,000, as we mentioned before, people working there. I mean, just look at the amount of police vehicles and
scale.
SWAT. That's an armored SWAT vehicle
Yeah.
over there, that black one. I've seen them myself many
me too.
times, yeah. That's...
They use those as like a show of presence. They'll
Yeah.
park one in like a square, and they're like, oh,
Like
shit,
at the
SWAT
border,
team's
you'd see
there.
them if you cross
Yeah.
the border in China. You see them, in Luohu and Shenzhen. They have them parked there and stuff. But yeah, this is a huge amount of law enforcement and so on heading over there. So anyway, you may have seen some footage. We're going to show you pretty much everything here. Well, you need to see what's actually going on here in China.
Yes.
So here you can see the clashes between the police there in the Dabai uniforms. The Dabai means big white. These are the stormtroopers that you can see right behind us here.
I think there
with
might be
riot shields.
Yeah, there might be some confusion. You might think of the white, Dabai, the COVID pandemic staff, as not police, but as hospital staff. But here, you got to understand, in China, when they send these police out into these crowds, they're all in hazmat suits.
Especially since this is all about zero COVID.
Yes.
Okay, and the whole point of these riots is revolving around the fact that there are COVID outbreaks.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to take it back to here and explain to you what's been going on. We reported, was it last week or the week before, we reported on the fact that you had all of these people fleeing the Foxconn factory there.
Yeah.
Okay, and this was because of COVID quarantine had locked people in their dorms.
Yeah.
And allegedly, 8 people in one dorm died.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Just allegedly. Like, that's not something that's been confirmed, but that is what sparked off this mass exodus. Because people have been stuck in because of these quarantines, and there was problems with food shortage and things like that. And then when the rumors, whether it's true or not, that these people had died in their dorm spread amongst all the workers, a lot of them were like, this is it, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But because of the zero COVID restrictions, they couldn't take buses, they couldn't take trains, they couldn't take public transport, so they walked. And we showed you the footage of them walking down the highways to escape this zero COVID lockdown and all this nonsense. So what happened was Foxconn then offered fairly handsome employment packages to new employees, because of course now they have to make up for the loss of employees. The guys that were like, I'm out, and they've fled. So they offered quite a lot. And so a whole whack of new employees turned up, and then something went wrong with the employment contract, because they had been told they would be receiving a certain amount, and then it turns out that then they were told they're not going to receive a certain amount. And then the people that had stayed there were really getting annoyed with the fact that the new people coming in hadn't quarantined, and now zero COVID starts spreading. And this is, the COVID started spreading, and this is the genesis of it all. There was a wage dispute. There was a miscommunication that had everybody disgruntled in the first place. But then when you throw in the zero COVID, where it's all of a sudden, now we're going to be locked down because some people have COVID now and everyone's going to be stuck here. So as soon as this whole thing about the zero COVID picked up and people realized that they were getting screwed over and were about to be locked down and incarcerated once again like prisoners, they were like, this is enough.
Yeah. Why don't you run the footage? Because I have every clip.
Yeah.
And we don't have to like give you a blow-by-blow. We can tell you why this transpired as this plays out.
And for those of you who possibly listening, what you're seeing here is you're seeing the workers are picking up steel poles. And I'm thinking a lot of these steel poles are coming from those makeshift barriers that were set up to trap them in their dorms and stuff. And look, they're carrying Chinese flags. And you see, this is what the government doesn't want.
Yes.
Is they're now using their nationalism. Because, in the Chinese national anthem, it says, stand up those who refuse to be slaves, right?
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
And I guess the Chinese government's regretting that they allowed that to stay in the national anthem because they want everyone to be slaves.
And they actually banned that line for a little while because people were using it as a protest anthem.
Exactly.
We'll explain the psyche behind the nationalism behind these protests as well, but this is towards the beginning.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing is in its infancy. What happened was because of all of it, the wage dispute thing and all this kind of stuff is a really good smoke and mirror campaign to take away and divert from bad policy.
Yes.
Because bad policy is really what got us here in the first place. I need you guys to understand something. This isn't just in Zhengzhou. There's uprisings in Guangzhou, Chongqing, and handfuls of other cities around the country because people have had enough. You're almost 3 years into this thing, getting locked down, not getting good food supplies, getting your code, your QR code, which can be green, means you can walk around and do whatever you want. Yellow, which means that you're in a high risk area. Yeah. And then red means that you or someone nearby is a COVID patient.
Yes.
And so you get locked down where you are. People are freaking out. They're like, "How you can't keep me in this spot, right?" Yeah. And what they did was they were manipulating people's QR codes.
Yes.
And changing them to red to stop protests.
Yeah.
And this is now, I hope you guys, if you're new here, you'll understand. This was never about COVID in China.
No.
The Chinese government doesn't care about COVID. What they care about is the ability to stop any and all dissent with the switch of a QR code.
Yes.
That's what we're seeing here. We're seeing revolts against that. And the smoke and mirror campaign right now from the Chinese government is to say, oh, Foxconn is bad.
Yeah, the factory.
It's a Taiwanese company. Look how bad they are. This is somehow America's fault.
Isn't Taiwan supposed to be a part of China?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
According to them.
But it's a smoke and mirror campaign because what it is diversion to say, oh, this is a company's policy issue. This isn't a national policy issue. And what's happening, this threshold is being crossed to where the Chinese government has made sure that they never get blamed for stuff like this. Mm-hmm. And it's blamed on people or countries or companies. Yeah. And then when it surpasses that, when you see the flags come out and you say, hey, this is not what China's supposed to be. Yeah. China's supposed to be, our proud, strong country. You can't do this to us, local pandemic workers. Yeah. That information gets into the right hands. These people aren't stupid, right? All you need is some people with a megaphone to stand up and say, hey, this is coming from the top. This is a bad national policy that's meant to keep us down. Yeah. We need to overthrow, just like our national anthem says, overthrow the people that are making us into slaves. And that's what you're seeing now. You're seeing a mix between disgruntled people that just can't handle it anymore and people saying, wait a minute, this can't be a forever policy for us. It's hopeless. It feels hopeless. Yeah. Right.
By the way, that is a police car that they're overturning. You see it says Gong'an on the side, which means public security. In these kind of areas, you don't see fancy police cars. That's what you'd expect to see.
I just want to read some comments.
Sure. Oh, and
this is a worker revolt.
Sorry, just before you do that, we also have to make clear that the government remotely changed all of the protesters' QR codes to red. So imagine you're on the fence and you've got some disgruntled people and they're like, "Screw this! We don't want to be trapped in here with zero COVID. Let's go out and make a noise." And then suddenly your phone turns red. That means if your QR code is red, that means you are a prisoner.
Sure.
That means you're screwed. There's no way out of it. You have to be taken to a quarantine camp. You have to be locked in a small room for like weeks on end. And no one ever knows how long because they keep changing the rules. So you as a person, you're like, screw this. I don't want my freedom taken away. And everyone else's freedom is being taken away at the same time. That's why you've got what's happening here right now. Is everyone's standing up and saying, screw this. We do not want to be put in jail for something we didn't do.
The only reason I said that, I'm not reading. I'm not going to break up the flow of this because we're still reporting on this. But there's a comment here, and this is more than one now.
Yeah.
This is a worker revolt against a factory rather than a countrywide revolt.
No. Okay. Explain to me why the Chinese police and the Chinese military are here beating these workers. If it's a worker revolt. You know, it's a different story because then you'd have the factory security would be there. It'd be there'd be a negotiation with the bosses. You know, it'll be like, hey, we're gonna have a strike.
Right.
Okay.
We've seen strikes.
Yes, and strikes in China are very different, and it usually involves people standing with a banner or kowtowing or kneeling down or something like that. It's a very different sort of a protest. We've seen it ourselves because. Remember, protests are not allowed. Why do you think they're smashing that zero COVID booth, that COVID testing booth over there? It's not because
that person I just read was a Wuma, by the way.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Why would it be a worker dispute? If it's a worker dispute, why are they smashing the the COVID testing stations?
Yep.
Why is it? See, look at the guy smashing the COVID. That's not a worker dispute. That's not my wages. You know, that's I'm sick and tired of this garbage.
They're going up against the police.
Yes.
The SWAT team. They are not protesting their boss to give them a red envelope.
They're not like, more pay, we're here to stay. It's not that.
It doesn't matter how things start, too.
Yeah.
It's an exacerbation of things. Also, I'd like to commentate on the people out there that are running disinformation campaigns for China to say this is an isolated incident against Foxconn's bosses. What you're doing is a massive disservice to all the other protests that are happening. Because if this is a worker dispute, then why is it happening in Guangzhou?
Yeah, which is like...
There's no Foxconn
so
there.
far away.
Where's the Foxconn factory in Guangzhou?
Yeah, exactly. It's not about Foxconn. It's not about a wage dispute. It's about people getting sick and tired of having their freedom taken away because of this ridiculous zero COVID policy, right? I mean, look at what they're doing here. Remember, this is not like security forces for the factory. You saw the police cars and the SWAT teams and this stuff come in. This is the government coming in to control the people.
Yes.
Okay?
I love that right now we have a disinformation bots campaign in our chat live, guys. This is why you're at the right place to follow this footage, because we have people paid to go stop this stream right now. Yeah, they don't want you to see this.
And what they're trying to tell you is that, it's just a wage dispute. This is not a wage dispute, okay? These are people sick and tired of their freedoms being taken away.
Yes.
And if there was no zero COVID policy, we'd see if there was a wage dispute, it would not require the whole police and army from all surrounding provinces to be sent in to quell it.
Yes.
It would literally be a bunch of people unsatisfied, and they do a sit-in, they do a strike, they'd get their wages. This is like, screw this. There are people fleeing on the highways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Trying on foot.
Everyone in the chat, please say hi to the paid government trolls. They're in the chat right now to try to sway your opinion.
Those are police riot shields that you're seeing there.
Yep.
All right? Those are not like
Look at this worker dispute.
Yes.
Must just be about their low wages.
Yeah. No, look.
Not the lockdown and starvation.
They're breaking down barriers and smashing COVID testing booths. That's got nothing to do with wages. The barriers are there to keep them from going anywhere because, hey, now you're under quarantine. The testing booths are the things that they torture them with every day with all their stupid, you got to test twice a day or whatever it is, get a Q-tip shoved down your nose or your throat so far that it, that you feel like I don't know.
I'll pause it there.
Okay, I
was waiting for this clip. Okay, so what you're seeing on the left here is a live stream. So this is what happened. Yeah. I went through the kind of Chinese internet records / archives until stuff got wiped.
Yeah.
And I talked to some people that were there. And so what happened was there was and this is rare. This is super rare, but this is the first time I've seen a protest inspire other ones because of the Chinese internet. And I'll tell you why. In China, they can shut down anything on the fly. Yeah. And if something is being shown, it's being allowed to be shown. Yes. So if you see something that's like, wow, I can't believe they're allowing that, it's allowed for a reason. The Chinese government literally has, basically, you can picture it like a big button that says, shut this topic down.
Yes.
Shut this word down. They'll block words, phrases, live streams, areas. They can black out a whole area.
They shut down live TV. I mean, you're watching the TV and suddenly CNN will air something or something and they quickly cut it.
On the international channel, it's like, it's playing like some
random advert from like 20 years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, what happened was there was about between 5 and 6 minutes of live streams that were coming on Kuaishou, on other live stream apps.
Those are live streaming services,
in China. And because people were confused. They weren't there to be like, I'm a clandestine reporter here on the ground.
No.
They were just whipping out their phones and saying, holy crap, what's going on? And in the live streams, they would say, I don't understand what's going on. And people in the crowd would say things like, oh, they're actually protesting because everyone's getting locked down. They're like, oh, yeah, get them. Go get those beat them up and go mess up the cops. And you could watch and listen to people's opinions being shifted on the ground.
Yeah.
And so for those 5 or 6 minutes, you had a whole country that had the ability to go see these no-name channels live streaming this event that weren't there to plan to do it, just were shocked that something was happening. And it took 5 or 6 minutes to shut everything down.
And of course, they shut everything down. They sent in all the cops.
They did. But in that process, it was enough to get people riled up, whether maybe those people are from Zhengzhou, but they live in a different city, to start their own kind of thing. And we saw this happen in Chongqing a little bit. And continuing to happen in Guangzhou. So this was a kind of like little spark that set off, not a national revolution, but a big enough thing to where it was not an isolated incident anymore. And that's why you're seeing campaigns from Chinese state media and disinformation campaigns from foreigners that work, when I say foreigners, like American, let's say an American that works for the Chinese government, will put out a disinformation campaign to say, this is really, like, why would someone put a story out about this? This is really actually about Foxconn disgruntled workers. This is not about zero COVID. Why is there an American YouTuber, putting out tweets like this? It's because there's a coordinated effort right now to shut down the narrative that this was anything but that.
And again, any doubt that this has got anything to do with zero COVID, all right?
Yeah.
Remember, they're breaking down the zero COVID barriers.
Yeah.
They're attacking the zero COVID cops because these are the police and the military. They're all in hazmat suits.
Yes.
Coming there to suppress the people. If it wasn't about zero COVID, you wouldn't see that.
No.
I mean, it makes it very easy, I suppose, in these situations to know who the enemy is because they look like stormtroopers.
It's quite literally become Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
These are the rebels.
Yeah, and I mean, you could just look at the sheer amount of people that are just, they've had enough with this shit. This is, again, it's not a worker dispute.
You understand, and we covered this before, guys, I want you to understand that if there are places, like in Qinghai, for example, is a province in China, where over 40 days, people have been locked in one wet market. They can't go see anyone. They can't go see their families. They can't go to work. They're stuck in a wet market.
There's a friend of mine in Inner Mongolia has been locked up for 53 days.
53 days.
In their apartment.
In his apartment, yeah. Can't leave.
Not allowed to leave. And people don't get that,
Yeah.
Can you imagine being locked up for 53 days? That's what these workers don't want.
No.
That's why they were fleeing on foot down the highways, in October. This is just, it's insane what's going on here. And you've got so many people in one place, of course.
Yeah.
They're using fireworks again.
It's a makeshift weapon.
Yeah, of course. Dude, this is absolutely what's going on right now in China, and it's absolutely crazy.
It's crazy. Now, to some perspective that you might not get from like maybe a mainstream outlet, but this is where you can't use a Western lens to look at this.
Yeah.
This is not an uprising that's saying, oh, let's overthrow the central government. This is not an uprising that says, oh, everyone rise up, let's stop the Communist Party of China. No one's doing that, right?
Nope.
The problem is that the Chinese government knows how things can morph.
Yes.
So things can take shape, right? This is in Guangzhou. They're putting up concrete barriers to stop people because they're revolting.
And they keep breaking down the barriers. So now they're like, we'll use concrete and rubble and stuff to hold it in place. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, to take it back to that.
Yeah.
They know that it's a slippery slope and it's a dangerous game.
Yeah.
Because all it takes is the intellectuals that know why this is happening to become inspirational figures in these movements. So you have to stop the movement while everyone's in the street and everyone's kind of raring to go, because if you get leadership figures in these areas, you can start to change people's minds about why this is actually happening.
Yeah.
This is not a local government problem.
No.
This is not my boss's issue. This is not the local police are so bad, but we love the police in Beijing deal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take that long to change someone's mind. Again, this is not some completely uneducated populace here.
No.
These are smart people, right? They know
Yeah.
they know what's going on if you give them the opportunity to understand the truth.
Correct. And again, we have to be very mindful of the disinformation campaigns that
Yeah.
are going on right now. And the number one disinformation campaign is trying to shift the blame of these protests, which again, we have to make crystal clear are not only happening in Zhengzhou, but they're happening around the country.
Around the country,
Small pockets here and there.
Yeah.
And a lot of them that we don't know about because it's
Yes.
suppressed so
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
They're happening everywhere. And it's not anything to do with a wage dispute. That might in that particular instance in the Foxconn factory, that is maybe what sparked them.
Yeah.
But it was the zero COVID that created this mess.
It's what
a
turned it
zero
in from-
COVID that changed it from a wage dispute.
From a strike to a
because
protest.
when they changed everyone's QR codes to red, all of a sudden it's like chaos. People are like, no, let's break down the barriers. Let's get our freedom.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely insane. You're seeing all of this stuff happening all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
It's
And
an overreaction.
Zero COVID.
It's an overreaction, right? And again, another thing to bring up, I wanted to bring up, I'm glad I didn't forget. There's a huge problem right now with a massive outflux of investors in China. Like, people
Yeah.
are already running away, but China relied on constant influx of investment
Yeah.
to keep its economy going.
Yes.
And so when people see what zero COVID is, to be the ability to lock down an entire area, shut down industry, shut down a local economy,
Yeah.
to effectively stagnate and paralyze a country,
Yeah.
it scares the hell out of people, right? They're like, I'm going to take my money to Vietnam. I'm
Yeah.
going to take my money to the
I'm going to move my
Philippines.
factory out.
I'm going to move my factory out. By the
Is-
way, this is in Chengdu.
The empty streets are in Chengdu.
Yes.
Yeah, and the other one is that still the
That's,
Foxconn?
yeah. So,
Because, by the way, Chengdu is currently under lockdown, as you can see from that footage, as usual.
Yes.
And there's a lot of these soft lockdowns going on.
yeah.
Like I got friends in Beijing who are like, yeah, we're not really
These
under...
are COVID tests in, I believe, in Eastern China.
Okay, COVID test, sorry.
at these.
Here's the thing, like I got friends in Beijing, for
Pause that.
instance.
I
Look at
want
the
people to
amount.
understand how COVID spreads.
Yes.
What they're so paranoid about is
This is how it's going to spread. I got people in Beijing who are telling me, oh, we're not officially under
Yeah.
lockdown, but all of the restaurants and shops are closed.
Yeah.
And we can't go to public places and stuff, but
Right.
we're not under lockdown.
Right.
But they are.
But I'm glad you brought that up, because going back to my point,
Yeah.
they were so worried at the actual effects of people pulling out investment. They saw what economic damage it
Yeah,
does,
yeah.
right? The central government knows this. So they say, oh, we're actually relaxing the zero COVID regulations,
No,
right?
they let rumors spread about that. And then all these stupid investors
Yes.
go and...
They're like,
throw-
oh, it's
they're
coming
like-
back.
Yeah.
The roaring dragon's coming back.
Yeah.
And they use tactics like, oh, it's just a soft lockdown in Beijing. It's not a real lockdown.
Yeah, it's a soft lockdown.
And people are like, oh, they're relaxing finally. They're going to
Oh,
stop
yeah, let's
this
go invest in
nonsense."
them. These
Yeah.
stock bros and investment bankers, wankers going over there and just like
Sure.
throwing money at China because they're not seeing what's really happening.
And you know what is happening? It's worse than before.
It's way worse.
The lockdowns are getting worse. Zero
Yeah.
COVID's getting more restrictive.
Yeah.
We got a guy up north. I won't say where. I just spoke to him this morning. They're just rebranding things. They're saying, oh, we're going to have high-quality nucleic acid testing. High-quality COVID testing now, right?
Right. What does that even mean?
They are now in his city, right?
Yeah.
And this is not a major city.
Yeah.
And you won't hear this on the news. They're now saying that everyone has to wear masks and stand 1.5 meters apart and wash their hands. But they've added a rule. Okay.
What's the rule?
They've added a rule now that if you're in line anywhere, including COVID testing line and line for groceries, you're not allowed to talk, or else it's against the law, because that spreads COVID. So you can't talk now, right? So they're coming up with all these redressing the laws and rules, and zero COVID is just as bad, if not worse, in places you're not going to find any reporting out of.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, I'm just bringing it back to the fact that they're attacking the COVID testing booths.
Yes.
Because anyone tries to tell you it's a wage dispute, ask why are they attacking the COVID testing booths?
Yes.
Why are they breaking down the COVID quarantine barriers?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with a wage dispute?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not burning down the factory.
No.
They're not
No.
seizing the means of production.
No. No.
They are breaking down the COVID barriers. They are battling with the police in hazmat suits. It's all COVID related. It's all COVID zero related. And, it's dumb, because another disinformation campaign I've been seeing going around for ages is this idea that zero COVID is saving China's economy. because of zero COVID, they're keeping the infections down, so that means production can continue. No, it's actually having the complete opposite effect. Because when everyone's locked down, the production ceases. And instead of people getting a cold, which is what COVID has, kind of become now, is like a bad cold / mild flu. If anyone's had it, they'll know. Everybody that I know has had it. It's like
it's not like the first iteration.
No, the first iteration was awful.
Horrid.
But it's got to the point now where you're in bed for a couple of days and you're over it, and then you continue on. That would be way better for China's economy and for the world's economy. But of course, they're trying to clamp down on this idea that this control method that they have, this absolutely absurd, over-the-top control method, which can control everyday life exactly where everybody can go, what they have to do. They all have to be tested multiple times before they can go do anything. You can't go into a shopping mall. You can't go and buy your groceries. You can't take a bus. You can't take a train unless you have that green QR code.
Yeah.
It's insane how much control they have. And so they're trying to justify it through all these different misinformation campaigns. And it's awful. I'm sick and tired of it. It's a bad system. And you can see the frustration is now boiling over, and people have had it because people have been locked up like prisoners over and over and over again. All because of this stupid policy,
So coming out of this, because we're about to wrap this segment up and we can get into the regular show.
Yeah.
By the way, if you guys are new, please subscribe. We have a live China show every Friday.
Yes.
Number two, I want you guys to be super hyper aware of the news that's coming out of this, not from major outlets, from people that claim to be on the ground in China or saying like, oh, this is actually what's happening here. And they keep diverting it back to the whole Foxconn dispute, because then you'll know you're actually looking at a disinformation campaign. You're armed with the knowledge to actually go forward with that.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a wage dispute, guys. This is an uprising against zero COVID. And again, if you don't believe it, look at what happened to the same factory not that long ago, where everybody was fleeing because of the zero COVID stuff on foot. There's incredible footage of that, of people just walking down the highways with all of their belongings to escape the COVID lockdowns. It's all got to do with the COVID lockdowns. And it's like being imprisoned. It really is. Once you have that red QR code, you are now a prisoner. And the state decides if you're going to be imprisoned in your dormitory, if you're going to be imprisoned in literally locked in a container somewhere in these quarantine facilities, or any weird place. And then you are not allowed to order your own food. You have to rely on the state for food. And sometimes we've had situations with people starving to death. It's true. The deaths from COVID in China are uncountable. We'll never know the real amount of deaths from the actual disease itself.
First outbreak, yeah.
From the first outbreak. But the deaths from starvation, suicide, mental health issues, all this other crap. People who have like serious medical conditions but cannot seek medical help because they don't have a COVID thing.
Another thing to bring up, a lot of the uprisings happening now, particularly we had one in Lanzhou.
Yeah.
And there's a new one because babies and kids have died because they can't get medical attention.
Yeah, so you got a kid with an incredibly high fever, very sick, needs immediate medical attention, and they're like, no, even though there's a hospital 800 meters away, they're like, you don't have the QR code or you have to quarantine or whatever, and the kid doesn't get medical attention. That's a real story, by the way.
Yep.
Kid dies, the whole local area is like, screw this bullshit. Yeah, they're like, that's it, it's enough. This zero COVID thing is a massive mistake.
Yep.
It's a massive, massive
They can't go back on
mistake.
it. That's how a one-party state works. So when you want to apologize for a one-party state and authoritarianism and you want to say, hey, at least they get stuff done. No, this is actually what happens in the end.
Anyway, the fact of the matter is, sorry, let us get us back in there. Things are not under control. As much as the Chinese government tries its absolute best to push the propaganda narrative that zero COVID is working and they've beat COVID and it's amazing and because of it they're leading the world and they've done everyone such a big favor because of zero COVID, all they've done is hurt the people of China immensely.
Yeah.